See, it is up.
Good. Yeah, I've got the notification.
That's good. Well, welcome to our 0 viewers on stream at the moment. Hopefully you enjoy this accelerating race around the Hungary ring. So we're just going to wait for a moment. We're just going to share the links out, and I'm sure we'll be underway shortly, Big C.
Yeah, and good evening to KXDN official and Little Blocks. So some early viewers straight in for their,
Yeah.
Tuesday night action in the Formula Performance League.
And Big C, when there's no Champions League football, people are thirsty, aren't they, for a bit of Hungary racing? They want to see what is on offer here in the FP League. Drivers who are actually on the grid racing, they're watching as well. So, always on a keen eye for a lookout of, any action or any spillages out on the circuit.
Exactly. Just waiting for Kruhofen and Giuliano Manu.
That's fine, Big C. I'm just going to send a few tweets out just so we can get some viewers in. So
that's fine. I think Ashbest just gave he's an update. He says he wants extra 5 minutes because he needs to use the loo.
Well, I'm sure the lobby can start and he can use the loo during qualifying. I'm sure there's no issue with that. I don't know what you
hello, Leon and Jack Tyler, and obviously the man onto the podium as well.
Big C, a good crop of drivers. PSGL's very own. Those drivers. So
exactly, and yeah, Mr. Alamonda's also joined us. So they're filling up. The seats are filling up.
Yeah, well, 11 viewers on stream, so people are ready for action here tonight. So I'm just going to get it out on the F1 Twitter as well, the PSGL F1. Only 2 people have access to that Twitter account.
Yeah, and definitely. So let's wait for the final drivers, and Bugatti's in the chat as well. He won the Showman Award at the Paul Ricard circuit. So that's always interesting, but I think it'll be a good opportunity just to run down the state of the championship.
Yeah,
so AMS in the Sauber tonight is on 50 points. So, he's not putting himself in the Williams, he's in the Sauber for the Hungary. So, yeah, not too bad. Ashbest on 39, also in the Sauber. Abiodun, we have to talk about Abiodun in just a bit. He received a race ban following his comments after the race. You're a league director. I think you were the one who decided it was going to be a race ban. Can you expand on that decision?
I think, Big C, people do take things for granted. There's a way you've got to behave. You've got to behave accordingly. Before the race, during the race, after the race. If you've got some words to say, say it. Diplomatically in a private message with the driver that you're involved in. To use expletive language in a public group chat in that aggressive tone and manner, unfortunately didn't leave us with much choice other than to suspend him from tonight's race. But I'm sure he'll learn from that. He's young and he's a good driver, good asset to the site. So hopefully, he'll grow from this and mature into a better driver both on and off the circuit.
Yeah, I couldn't agree any more. So, what was the standings? Because went through the top guys, but also the likes of the CC Brain on 33 points, 17 points off, currently in 4th. CC will be in the Toro Rosso Honda for tonight, so I think CC will be in a good race. But AMS in the Sauber, I think, will be very strong around here. I want to talk about the Red Bull. The Red Bull has the downforce. It's got the chassis, and I think Mr. Grumpy, he's had a torrid FP season, but in the Red Bull tonight, I think he could be one of the favourites to win.
He is, Big C. A driver of his calibre, his experience, his quality, in a car like a Red Bull. I expect nothing less than a victory. I can see that you've got the tweet out, which is good. I'll get it out in the F7 chat.
Yeah, so it'll be Abidon sitting out, and it'll be Little Blocks in the Williams tonight. And Alfie says Big C should feel privileged to commentate on the one and only. Yep. Bugatti, I love commentating on drivers such as yourself. It's very privileged to spend my Tuesday evening. I was working all weekend in London, come home to finish 12th out and then to commentate the next night. I couldn't think of anything better.
No, that's
And
great.
AMS, sorry to hear, AMS says we have to look out for Goldie on Manu. The McLaren is very good here, he says.
Oh well, that's good to hear, isn't it? Oh, am I spectating? Hang on.
I think for my car testing, the Sauber was a couple of tenths faster than the McLaren just then. So we'll see how it all plays out here at the Hungaroring.
Yeah,
16 views already, and it's heating up.
yeah. I mean, it's good that we've got a few viewers in. We did send a tweet out earlier, off my Twitter account, and a lot of people were retweeting it. A lot of people thirsty for some Tuesday night action. Forget Stoke City, forget Stoke-on-Trent. Forget the Bet365 Big C. This is where the cold Tuesday nights are based here in the PSGL Formula Performance League around the Hungaroring.
Yep, I could agree on. Good evening to Anthony Haig. Haig's, he's just a regular fixture here in the FP. I love seeing what Haig can produce on a racetrack. And a quick question from Abby: was the race ban the right decision? Yes, because I obviously agreed to it. So, yeah. But moving on, I think we need to focus on the drivers here today. Pirelli being the ultra soft and medium, so no super soft, similar to China and the Hockenheimring. So yeah, a performance capsule of over 1 second between the tyres, which could make qualifying a bit more unpredictable.
Oh, Big C, look at what is out on track. God's decided to take a leak, and wow, this is going to be one hell of a qualifying session. We don't know if it's going to dry. Is it going to get wetter? I wonder if Haig can update us on the race conditions. If Haig is in the garage, if possible, update us on track conditions. You're our saviour in FP.
Yeah, definitely. And Aaron, it is light rain. I mean, there's all sorts of different weather conditions on this game, but can you tell us more about the light rain?
Big C, I've said what I need to say about the light rain. There's two types of light rain, one where it gets drier and one where it gets wetter. You don't get the one in between. You get one or the other, unfortunately, and we'll wait and see what one we get here. But Jack Tyler first out to brave these conditions, dry the track up for everybody else. Big C, you know a lot about Jack Tyler. Won last week in Hockenheim, his first PSGL victory. This man, is back on form, showing that he's got the quality, but he just needs the consistency to go with it.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you're a certain age, consistency is probably the hardest thing. I think the younger drivers tend to be quite fast, but also, very error prone and get a little bit too excited. Although Will's not quite, quite there. But I think Jack is improving. He's absorbing the information. He's talking to the right people. So I think Jack Tyler's got a good future ahead of him if he keeps up and keeps working hard and improving.
Yeah, and Big C, at the moment, what Haig has told me is that we're going to have inters all quali, and it's going to be, the race is going to go from dry to light rain. So we are expecting rainy conditions in the race, but it will start, in dry weather. So we could see a lot of drivers starting on the medium tyres, at the start of the race, dependent on how long, into the race we get until we get the rainier conditions.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be something to keep an eye on. Obviously, all drivers will get free tyre choice for the race, having it being a wet qualifying.
Yeah, just listening in on Jack Tyler at the moment, you can really hear the raindrops on the car. This man, wants to get a good result. He wants to put back-to-back results together here in the FP League. He wants to mount a title challenge. That would be great for a man like Jack Tyler as we come down turn 1 here, Big C. Can he get the breaking point right?
I think it's quite cautious from Jack Tyler, but he is running the ABS system, so he'll be able to get it stopped down. But I think it'll be interesting to see if conditions do improve slightly. Obviously, if track evolution does exist in the wet conditions, but Jack Tyler negotiating the tricky first. Got a couple of slow speed corners, easy to lose the car, but I think Jack's negotiating it quite nicely, considering he's in just a midfield car.
And Big C, some drivers are actually holding back in the pits as they believe it will get drier, and if it's going to be wet conditions for the race, you don't want to chew up too many of your intersets. You want to hold some back just in case you might need some for the race as well. So Jack Tyler is going to get a good lap time on the board, or just stay out on that set for a few laps. And I expect that'll be the same case for quite a few of the drivers out on track. So JP Greenwood out there as well, but we're still on board with Jack Tyler, who's snaking that car around. He's lost the back end slightly, but we'll get away with that, lose a few tenths. But at this moment in time. It's all about getting a lap time on the board. Doesn't matter how you do it. And Jack Tyler, not afraid to test himself in these conditions, Big C.
Yeah, definitely Jack Tyler struggling as he wrenches the car in this final sector. So tricky in dry conditions with traction. And in the last sector, where Jack Tyler will set the benchmark, but I think as drivers adapt to the conditions, the times will get faster and faster. But it's Jolyon and Emmanuel on pole position with the 30.3 in the McLaren Renault. And it's 30.9 for Jack Tyler. And there's yellow flags out there.
Big C, I don't know who they are. We're just going to go on board. Oh, might as well go on board with someone like JP Greenwood, you know, man, under the spotlight. But Big C, we've been asked, has the Hungarian celebrity been spotted as we see JP Greenwood run wide? Big C, is there any celebrities out there for this race, special guests?
I can't see any. I've not had this information provided to me just yet, Aaron. I'm focusing on the track action because AMK is on pole by 6 tenths per second.
Oh, sorry. Who else is out there? I'm on board with JP. He's looking really touchy. I don't think this is a lap time. Oh, somebody's gone somewhere.
AMS slots into second on a 0.8. So yeah, great time there from AMK in the McLaren Renault. Ugi Azim P5.
CC Brain, Big C. CC Brain around the final corner. Here we go. Ninth.
Rubbish. I think Sutty here and Sutty in the Ferrari. The Tifosi. There is a few Tifosi in the car. I see up the Italian flag there and just in the last sector. A couple of Italian flags. What can Sutty DCFC do in the Ferrari? P4 for Sutty. Pretty decent there, but you know the track's on. And Jolyon Manu is 7 tenths of a second up in the middle sector.
Big C, forget Jolyon and Manu. Hang on, he might go fastest. Hang on, he does, brilliant. But Big C, Ugi Azim is out of the session. Ugi Azim. Oh no.
Little Blocks is off. He's off. He's made a mistake in the final sector. The Williams struggling, but Aaron Ugi Azim, what happened to him? Where did it happen?
I don't know. You know, I mean, it's happened. That's all I can say. You know, like a drunken night, you just don't know what you can bring back home with you, and that is the same for Ugi. Sorry, I don't think we should have said that.
Maybe not, but Mr. Grumpy, you know, we know how good he is in these wet conditions, and he is in the Red Bull.
Ash Best has also come into the line here in the Sauber. So we'll stay on board with Ash Best as AMS goes fastest, takes pole of Big C. What can Ash Best do? Only 13, 6 seconds off his teammate. But what about Mr. Grumpy, Big C? You know this man. What can he do?
I do know him, but what can Mr. Grumpy do in the Red Bull? It's pole! It's professional pole for Mr. Grumpy, the most experienced driver on the grid. And, you know, he does what he does best in these conditions, and it's provisional pole.
Yeah, and Big C, we do want to have a look at who else is out there. I'm sure people will be out there for multiple time laps. Can you spot any yellow flags out there?
Yeah, I saw it was Little Blocks here, and Little Blocks was off. Jack Tyler was off as well. They're all struggling with the conditions. Even Ugi is out already. So, you know, it's so tricky that Ash Best, 4 seconds up in the first sector, will be one to watch.
Yeah, Little just looks very broken at the moment. You know, I wonder if he's picked up some damage out there. But what about Jack Tyler? Is he going back into the pits? Yeah, a lot of people deciding enough's enough. What about Tom AJ? A man under the spotlight. You know, he's been under the spotlight all week long. Not having luck in FP, F2. It's not going right for him. He needs a result here, Big C. I'm sure there's other people coming around, but...
Yeah, AMS is on for professional pole position. He was 3 tenths up in the middle of the fighting the back end of that Sauber. AMS currently 11 points clear at the top of the Drivers' Championship in the Sauber rather than the Williams, which flights of Abiutin got in the teams. But it is AMS back on provisional pole with a 0.0.
That's a very good lap time. We'll go back to Tom for a moment. He's just coming around the middle sector at the moment. There's yellow flags out there. We'll ignore them for the time being. Game Freak has asked, can I join F2 next season if his F4 campaign's good, Big C? I mean, we need clean drivers, and Game Freaker is one of the cleanest around in the industry. I'm sure we'll take him, but you know, you need results to back that up, and you know, Game Freaker definitely has the talent and pace to move up the divisions. But Tom AJ, Big C, just watching him come around here, it's a solid lap in the Force India, but it's not the best car around this circuit.
No, it's not the chassis and downforce, but where is it? It's only P13 here, but he's not set too many laps just yet. We saw Amos set 3, 4, 5 time laps, so you know, it takes a bit of time. get used to the circuit in these conditions. So Game Man was asking what the strategy is. I think if you want to go softs to mediums, probably is the optimal strategy around it. It's so difficult to overtake. Obviously, you know, the old softs are so much faster in qualifying. So I think it's going to be similar to China and the Hockenheim ring, where you want to be on that middle tire at the start, but qualifying will be interesting, certainly for the other leagues up there. It's in the drive.
Yeah, I agree with that, Big C. We're just watching Warren Haig go around the final corner here, yet to set a lap time, preserving his intermediate tyre sets. What can he do in the house?
Sorry, Aaron, JP's out the final corner. He's out. He's out of qualifying.
Anybody else coming around the final corner? So that
Ash Best.
Oh, is he? Oh, I can't see him. Sorry, missed him. That's all right. Ash Best goes sixth. Anybody else coming around the final corner?
Tom Gay's up by a couple of attempts on his latest time lap. Haig will be going again, but I think Tom's probably the only one right now on a lap.
All right, we'll go on board with him, Big C.
So, in this lap, it's so tricky, especially because the traction has more yellow flags out there. And I agree, Game Armando, he's not even leading the championship, but through the colours in the final sector, Tom AJ, as he's still got memory thoughts of Abiodun as he runs through the final corner, uses the power of the Mercedes engine, and it's P9.
So he's improving lap by lap, Big C. So he's getting some more familiarity with the race circuit lap by lap. It's going to be hard to keep up with all the action, but there's a lot of quick drivers out there, and Joliana Manu, this is really helping the McLaren's not the best car, but they are doing really well in these conditions, and Joliana Manu, Big C, is on a flying lap, absolutely heaving the car around every corner. Look at him go.
Yeah, I think Joel's been around this track more times than most, but look at that, Aaron. Off the circuit, losing the car in such a an embarrassing area of the track. You just can't lose it there on a qualifying lap.
No, Big C, you can't. And poor Joliana Manu, embarrassing, Big C. But I'm sure he'll get it together. Anybody else out there who could be improving? Warren Hayes 11th at the moment. He's in the first sector, so I don't think we'll get much from him. Duo Finn's just gone out there, set a few sector times, and he's come back into the pit lane. But surely there must be another man out there on circuit. Tom AJ is going again, getting a lot of coverage. And you're right, Big C, Forza Abiodun in the back of his head as he comes into the final sector. Tom looking for a result, searching for a result, gagging for some points here this evening. And he goes straight back into the pit lane. But anybody else? Oh, no, he hasn't, Big C. Tom has binned it at the final corner. He's understeered, trying to go into the pits. Oh.
Yeah, forget him. Just forget Tom. AMK is currently 4 seconds up on his current personal best, so he can challenge AMS for Hobbs. But AMK is not useless like Tom, so it's AMK to the line, and it's pole. It's a 29.020 for AMK here, and forget Tom. It's all about AMK.
Yeah, but what about Mr. Grumpy in the Red Bull? He's coming around in this final sector, one of the most experienced drivers out on the circuit, spraying his experience here. Look at that, he's just sprinkling it all over the circuit for everyone to see as Chicken Owns retires. But Mr. Grumpy, years of experience, thousands under his belt. This man knows this track from the back of his mind, from the back of his hand. He can drive with his eyes closed as he drives to the line, and his fastest, Big C, is pole position for the oldest man on the grid.
What a lap for Mr. Grumpy as CC Brain slots into P4 in the Toro Rosso Honda. So yeah, lots of improvements from Joel's up. Haig's, even look at Haig in the Haas. 6 tenths, he's just improved. P6, a great lap there from Haig.
Yeah, Joel's also on a flyer, Big C. There's yellow flags everywhere, so I'm sure people are spinning off, but look at this, Big C. Joliana Manu, your good friend for 7-8 years. Take us through this.
Yeah, so Joliana Manu, I think he's backed out of it. I think he has backed out, so perhaps he's going to box. Oh no, he's going to go for another lap, so perhaps we need to find someone else out there. Couldn't improve. Jack Charlie's up by a 10th in the middle sector as well.
Oh, we'll go on board with Jack Charlie then. In the Renault, a good car around here, good conditions for him. He needs to get this together. He's fighting the rear end, he's running out of grip, and people don't know that it is hard to drive in these conditions in performance cars. It's not like equal car performance. These drivers have got to nurture their skill to be able to adapt to these conditions, and he goes 5th fastest. That is a very good lap time. What about Little Blocks, Big C? Oh, he's only in the first sector, isn't he? Or is that final? No, it's final. Got my dimensions wrong.
I think he's boxing for a new set of boots. Who else is that? Sutty. Sutty goes 12th in the Ferrari, so nice little improvement there for the Ferrari. Mr. Grumpy looking to improve a shiny middle sector, but I think he can find more. He can find more, and he does. It's another 10th for Mr. Grumpy. 28.8, so he's laying down a marker to the likes of AMK and ALS.
But what about AMS, Big C? Is he coming across to finish a lap time? I think he is, and he cannot respond, you know. But what about Joliani Manu now, Big C? He's coming around these tight, twisty complex. You know, this is a man who is gagging for pole position.
He is indeed, but he's 4 cents down. I think he needs to pit for a new set of boots. I think the fuel is flashing, so I think Joe will be boxing for a new set of boots.
It's a shame. No, yes, he is. Oh, it's a shame. So people are waiting to get the track conditions at their finest as it starts to dry out just a little. I don't think it's going to dry out enough for slick tyres. What about Flying Frome? He's been a bit silent. He's in the first sector. It's not a person I want to watch at the moment, but he does look a bit shaky out there. What about Juho Finn? He's yet to set a lap time as well as Dano. You know, who do we go with? Juho Finn's just started a lap time, Big. So come on, let's just take us through this.
Aaron, I don't think I can because Mr. Grumpy is 4 tenths up in the middle sector. So Mr. Grumpy's about to smash the benchmark. The most experienced driver on the grid, as you've alluded to on many occasions in the Red Bull. The chassis is working with Mr. Grumpy in the wet conditions. Is just another level. He's a beast in these conditions. He can tame the conditions better than anyone else in the Red Bull tag. Hoya, what can Mr. Grumpy do? Can he take from the pole? Can he extend his advantage? No!
Yes! Yes, Big C! He done it! 7 tenths! Oh my goodness! But Big C, can Juho Finn, one of the most experienced drivers on the grid also, can he respond to Mr. Grumpy's request here to say, challenge me, beat me if you can? Can Juho Finn pull something out of the bag? He's good in these conditions, Big C. He's good. He's got one of the fastest cars under his belt. Take us through this.
Yeah, Juho Finn is sliding, he's caressing the car as he undulates through the middle sector, into the final sector, into turn 12, easily to lose the car. But Juho's got the car control, he's got the car. Toto Wolff looks on, Norbert Haug is back in the building, he even looks on from the Mercedes garage. Juho Finn will be looking to beat the likes of Dano and JP Greenwood, perhaps even further up the grid. The Finn, the Flying Finn, PSGL's Flying Finn. What can Juho Finn do in the Mercedes-Benz? P18 for Joe Arun, ahead of Dano, and of course is JP Greenwood. JP's been in Joe's back pocket for years now.
And Big C, I've just seen Harry Redknapp, you know, Mercedes' special guest, just give a shake of the head. He's not happy with that. AMS did cut into Grumpy's time, and he's only 4 tenths behind, so good effort from AMS, putting himself in yet another quick car, despite being the championship leader, Big C. You know, is there a bit of jiggery-pokery going on? You know,
perhaps we can discuss that. But loads of people are moving. Thrones up to P9. Kingdom Martin's a few tenths up in the middle sector as well. And there's too many timing screen. It's full of green sectors.
AMS at the moment. Here we go. It's not faster. Who else, Big C? Who else would you want to go with?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to find someone to put Fraggle Paul in. Fraggle Paul in the Red Bull tag. Hoya, can he put it on the front row? Can he join Mr. Grumpy on the front row? Christian Horner looks on, but Fraggle Paul stays 8th.
No, not good enough. Not good enough. What about Ash Best? His teammate humiliating him this evening. You know, Ash Best down in 12th. His teammate on the front row. I know this is pretty early at the moment to go on board with Ash Best. He will get another lap, you know, on the board. But, you know, I wonder if AMK is further up the field. No, he's not. We'll go
Tom
back.
AJ to the line, goes 10th, so a few improvements coming in thick and fast.
We'll go back with Ash Best, Big C. There'll be other times, you know, coming down on the timing screen. But Ash Best here in the Sauber Ferrari. What can he do? His teammate is on the front row. You know, this is one of the best drivers that PSGL have ever produced. But, you know, this is not what he wants at the moment in 14th. He needs to put that car up the grid. Ash Best around the final sector. He is struggling in these conditions and he cannot improve, Big C. It's not good enough. Anybody else?
Here I think everyone's on laps. AMS round the final corner. I think he'll be the first to cross the line out the big boys in the Sauber Ferrari. I think he's out of AMS is done. AMK in the last sector as well, Aaron.
Yeah, I can see him at the moment in the McLaren at the moment. You know, the McLaren Renault doing well in these conditions. Jolyon Aminu currently 7th. But what can AMK do as he comes around the final corner? And it took him an awful long time to get through that final corner. Can he challenge for the front row or even pole? He does. He nabs it off AMS. He nabs it off AMS. That's brilliant. What about flying throne, Big C?
Yeah, flying from to the line. What can he do? Even 4th in the force India. It's a decent effort there. CC Brains are here and Jolyon Aminu. Can he put his name in lights? Currently P7, 1.2 seconds off pole. He's well down on his team, but Joel, a master of these conditions. He knows how to get it done in these conditions. He's been doing it for years. I've seen it firsthand myself. He's put laps round. He's lapped me in these conditions before. Jolyon Aminu round the final corner in the McLaren Renault at the Hungary. Can Jolyon Aminu take pole? It's P4.
That'll
P4
do.
for Joel.
That'll do. But what about CC? He can't improve. There is somebody else out there. It's Lickle Blocks.
Sutty P7.
Oh,
Sutty comes 7th in the Ferrari.
Big C, we've got Lickle Blocks coming around the final sector here as well. In the Williams, I believe it's going to be the last shout of the session for Lickle Blocks, and he goes 8th. He goes 8th. Unbelievable lap time. In the Williams, the slowest car on the grid, he goes 8th, Big C. That's impressive.
Yeah, the star qualifying Lickle Blocks wrenching that Williams car. That's shocking in the corner, shocking on traction, and even got shocking straight on speed. But it is, Aaron, it is Mr. Grumpy on pole position here at the Hungarian. Who would have thought it?
Well, Big C, I would have put my money on him. You know, when you put a car, when you put a beast in a car like that, he will make sure he delivers a Mr. Grumpy, enjoying every moment of it as he starts from pole position ahead of AMK, AMS. Jolyon Aminu doing a good job in 4th on the intermediate tyres. We got Frome in 5th, CC 6th, Sutty 7th. A brilliant lap time from Lickle in 8th, Jack Tyler 9th, Tom in 10th, Warren Hay just outside the top 10 in 11th, Fraggle 12th, Bugatti 13th, Kingdom Martin 14th, Ash Best, Dano, Chicken, Oogie, Juhofin and JP Green. Was a disappointing session there for Oogie Azim, Big C.
Yeah, Oogie really struggles to adapt to these conditions. You know, he only can really drive in the dry. He's just not used to the moisture.
And we've just had a message from Lickle Blocks. Difficult, bloody hell, that car. I was wrenching it whole way through that lap. So, you know, Lickle Blocks definitely struggling in that car. So, you know, he'll be hoping that it gets, you know, wetter as the race goes on. But it's going to start with dry conditions, and I wonder, you know, when the rain will come. So a lot of people could decide to start on, you know, the hardest tyre compound. So we will find out shortly, because it'll be quite interesting, won't it?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll certainly be the softs or probably the mediums, depending on when the rain's coming. Obviously, they've got the blocks. It's 6 blocks. And interesting if the weather forecast isn't accurate like in real life.
Big C.
It's not accurate on the game, which is what you want.
No, and Big C, it might be 6 blocks, but we've got Lickle Blocks in P8. So, you know, Who needs 6 blocks when you have a man like Lickle who can definitely provide some action? You know, he did do pretty well in one of the pre-season races in FP as well. Put on a show and, you know, impressed in his first race in F2, and now he's moved up to F1. But, you know, this is the formation lap, so we'll just have a look and see who's on what tyres, Big C.
Yeah, interesting. The top 10 have all opted for the yellow marked soft tyres. Warren Haig has opted for the ultra soft, which are about 1 to 1.5 seconds faster. Then we've got Fraggle, Bugatti and Martin also on softs, as well as Dano, Chicken and JP Greenball. Then the medium tyres, we've got the likes of Ash, Ogi Azim and Juho Finn. So yeah, the softs to medium strategy looks to be what people want.
But Big C, is going to rain, apparently, according to Haig. I don't know if he was telling Porkies, but that to me suggests that the rain could come sooner than expected if a lot of people have gone for the soft tyres. So that'll be quite interesting to see. We're just going to have a look at the telemetry as well, you know, just to see who's using what. So we're just going to ride on board with Mr. Grumpy for the time being. Lickle Blocks and Jack Tyler already sent to the grid, and Tom AJ just getting some heat into those tyres. Well, Warren Hay, will he be looking to get heat into those tyres, or will he be playing it a bit safe? He doesn't want to overheat those ultra soft tyres. We've got 23 viewers on stream, so another popular FP stream here tonight, Big C. It's great for this league to have, you know, this many viewers. You know, it's a league that generally used to get, you know, the lowest stream coverage, but now it's up there with one of the, you know, the better stream PSGL races. out there. So on board with Haig at the moment, definitely getting some heat into those tyres. Let's go further back. Have a look at Chicken Owens. You know, this man's been silent. You know, he's no longer in the F4 League. So this is a big race for him as he watches his nephew flying from him, you know, starting 5th in the Force India. And look at that, everybody really trying to bunch the field up here as they line up on the grid. But it is going to be Mr. Grumpy who starts from pole position.
Yeah, obviously the line up on pole. Aaron, I know you've not stopped on pole too many times in your career, but you know when you're on pole, you just got to make the most. You got to make that stop. You got to defend. There's no point taking pole if you can't capitalise when there's pressure on you if you're on pole position. So Mr. Grumpy were looking to extend his advantage.
Yeah, and we're waiting for the lights to come up on our screen. You know, it's 4 lights, it's 5 lights, and it's go. Go, go. I've not got the camera angle I want, but it seems like Mr. Grumpy has not got away well. AMS has taken the lead. Jolion and Manu is going down the inside here, Big C. This is going to be an impressive turn 1. AMS takes the lead, but McLarens are fighting, and Mr. Grumpy is being forced by Jolion and Manu up into 2nd. But will Mr. Grumpy go back down the inside? He can't. He's got CC Brain around the outside, and I think there's some cars losing positions further behind Big C, but look at this action here. Grumpy and CC Brain, so Grumpy the biggest loser I think on that opening lap.
Yeah, it looks like the reactions just weren't there, and it looks like he stalled the car, but Sutti's already down to P20, a bit of a spinner at turn 3.
Yeah, it's a shame, Big C. Ugi Azim also down to 19th, so the AMS leads, but look at this, CC Brain sucked up behind Mr. Grumpy, so Mr. Grumpy did get the move back on CC there, and Jack Tyler up into 6th as well. But you know, a cagey start here in the FP League, but AMS lead, and that's, you know, that could be race win guaranteed, couldn't it?
It could be. Looking at his pace in practice, AMS did look very quick, but I think Mr. Grumpy will be going to watch. I think Joel probably should do the right thing and just let him go. But it's early days. Joel will be trying to close down on AMS. Joel always the man for the big occasion. You know, he's ready for these Tuesday nights. Just on Monday nights, he's not the same man. But when it comes to Tuesday, and he's just a different beast. But Mr. Grumpy looks like he's got the run out the final corner.
Okay, I'll go on board with Mr. Grumpy here. Joel might not fight this one too hard. I think if Grumpy's got the pace for the win, he's got the fastest car, and you know, he's definitely got the quality to do it. So Joel's got to think here, what's he do? Does he fight with AMS, stay with the race lead, or if he can't do that, just, you know, let Grumpy go and wait for the big picture? And we're going back down the grid, and Big C, Warren Haig on a set of the Ultra Softs, he is absolutely flying. He's up into 8th, and now he's just passed Tom, and now Flying Throne is the next person up the road. So I think Haig will be making a lot of moves in the opening segment of this race.
Yeah, definitely a great move there for Warren Haig up to P on the Ultra Softs. We're going from Ultra Softs to mediums shortly, so it'll be interesting to see how Warren Haig does. But even going on, man, who's already
Big C, JP and Fraggle. They were just they didn't come together, but there's a little you know, a little shimmy into the chicane. But Duo Finn, I think he's missing an end plate. Yes, oh, he's got to go back into the pits. We'll go back on board with Mr. Grumpy, I believe.
MK and CC side by side in the last couple of corners into turn 12 and turn 13. Jack Tyler's looking to get on the actor and oh, a bit of contact. It's a bit of cycle glitch there, but yeah, Jack Tyler just maintains P6. But yeah, Grumpy's looking very close to Jolie on a manoeuvre for P2.
Yeah, Big C. I will have a look at Joel very quickly. I don't know if Mr. Grumpy's actually going to make a pass down there, so we're going to stay on board with this battle. Will Jack go for it down the inside? He does. Oh, a late move there from A&K, but Jack Tyler gets it down the inside. Very punchy. And what will Flying Throne have to say about this? He's around the outside of A&K at the moment. But no, A&K better on the brakes, and Duo Finn picks up a penalty as he goes into the pit lane. So exciting stuff there. I think there's a movement here between the Williams. Oh my goodness, Little Blocks has just gone off, I think. So there's an issue there with one of the Williams.
Yeah, a good move there from Jack. To me, it looked like AMK moved under the braking, so I don't think Jack did much wrong. AMK just closed the line out, in my opinion. I don't think Jack did much wrong. AMK got what he deserved, and he just lost the position.
Big C, Ash Best has lost some positions as well. He's down to 17th on the mediums.
Yeah, Aaron, all I've got to say is Ash Best just loses positions. That's what he does in recent races. He's just not practicing. He's just not got the time or probably the commitment, the desire anymore.
No, and Tom's breathing down Warren Haig at the moment, but we are going to go back to the battle between 5th and 4th, because I think Jack Tyler's looking really punchy. AMK's looking punchy. I mean, if you've had a car come down the inside and you feel they've barged you out the way, you might give some back down the straight. You know, is that something that you'd do, Big C? You'd give it back?
Yeah, I would, Aaron. But Jolie on a man who's using DRS and he's using the overtake button. Can he make a move on AMS? No, he can't. Aaron, this battle's hotting up 6 tenths between the top 3. Forget the likes of AMK when there's a battle between Jolie on a man who AMS
Big
and
C,
Mr. Grumpy.
you have to look at the battle behind, because if you want to see contact, it's going to happen between 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, not between 1, 2 and 3. You know, 3 of the most experienced drivers on the grid. We will go back to the battle up front, but I just feel, I can just sense something's going to happen.
Oh, what an eight!
Oh my goodness! Oh, that looks disgusting. Look at the car just etched on the side of the circuit, Big C. Jack Tyler's out as well. Jack Tyler in the wall.
Oh.
Sorry, there's a massive battle here, Big C, behind the Williams and Bugatti. So I don't know what Tom's going to do. Oh no, how can you go to the battle up front when this is happening, Big C? Take us through this.
Yeah, Bugatti with a massive train. Claire Williams looks on with Tom in the 14. There's yellow flags out there again here, and it's all kicking off. But Tom, really quick compared to Bugatti in the rooms. But look at this train. There's truly train. Even if you were Bugatti, you'd love it. You want this train. You want people just suffering behind you. As Martin's now out the Grand Prix.
Yeah, you just expect a safety car to come out soon. We will have a look at the battle up front very shortly, but this looks like this could be carnage. Big C, this could be carnage. I think he's missing the name plate. Little blocks around the outside. It's like watching Poundland drivers battling over everything. Kingdom Martin's out. What about, oh Jesus, Big C. Look,
anyway, this will be forward and bad this way. Because look at it, he could throw a cloth over the back between forward and bad into turn 1. Little blocks down the inside of his teammate Bugatti. Best of mates, and it's all because of Red Bull as well. I'm losing track of how many cars are involved.
There's a Mercedes. It's JP Greenwood's just past Fraggle Paul. So it's all kicking off here. Unbelievable battling, but Little Blocks has moved up to 7th. Brilliant stuff here. And I just have a feeling something could kick off here. Tom hasn't been happy so far in PSGL, but he's made that move stick, has he? Yes. And Bugatti lets him go. Warren Haig's out of the session. He's left. So I wonder if he's had anything to say on the screen. He said Tom's an idiot. Well, oh dear.
Oh dear, it's correct, as JP, and JP's just throwing himself about tonight. You know, he's like in a night, he's just throwing himself at people, but he's up to P10, he's gained 10 positions here, and what more can you ask from a driver?
He's just had a Red Bull driver and he's outside. So yeah, what about Tom on Lickle? I don't want to watch the battle up front. Lickle turned into an AI for a second though, and Tom starts to slot in. I might have to go on board with Grumpy, Big C, because he does look close to Joel. At the final corner.
He's right at the back, he's right with him, he's got up DRS, he's going to use the overtake. I think Joel Gus has to let him go. He needs to let Mr. Grumpy escape and attack Ams for the race lead. I think Mr. Grumpy, you know, he knows how to stop a car, he's done it that many times, and yeah, easy as you like.
Yeah, but what about Tom AJ? Will he get a run on Little Blocks? Little goes down to the inside, he wants to defend, he wants to move up into the FP League, he loves it here and defends brilliantly, but Tom has got the run out of that corner, but he's going to have to stay behind for another lap surely. Will he go down the inside? Lickle leaves the door open but then cuts down the inside, and fantastic defending from Lickle Blocks.
Certainly, well, look who's joining in on the app. We've got the likes of Bugatti, Fraggle, Paul, Dano, Chicken Home, JP Greenwood and Oogie Azim. You know, they all want to buy of Lickle Blocks.
Yeah, well, if Lickle can stay out there for as long as possible and provide us with this entertainment and excitement, that's what we want here. Ash Best picks up a penalty, struggling. That's a shame, but, you know, great battling out here, Big C. You know, AMK also on the back of CC, so we will go back to that battle shortly, but you just have a feeling something could happen here. You know, you got Fraggle in a Red Bull, he's in a car that's about 2 seconds and that quicker than the drivers in front, so he could definitely make some inroads. Mr. Grumpy, sorry, Big C. Did he have a run here on AMS?
Oh yes, Mr. Grumpy, coming over 3 tenths behind. I think he's going to have a go. He's going to have a go into turn 1.
Yeah, good defending
Mr.
from
Grumpy.
AMS.
Yeah, I was waiting to say something, but Mr. Grumpy tries to get the cutback. He's got the traction, he's got the superior grip. That's Mr. Grumpy. He needs to get the move, and he's the fastest man out here as he comes on the run down to turn 4. Round, no, turn 2 and 3. As he goes round the outside of Mr. Grumpy, leads the Hungarian Grand Prix. Getting mixed up in the corners. It's such an iconic track with no names. But yeah, you're Mr. Grumpy there. Textbook stuff.
is brilliant, Big C. But I've just got to say here, Fraggle's made a move on Tom, so the battle for 7th is really heating up. These are types of battles we like. Unfortunately, Dano's got himself into 10th, so it's like a battle of two trains. So I'm just going to have a look at Dano here, because I have a feeling Bugatti is feeling, you know, a bit ramped up, because he was running up there for a while. So I wonder if he wants to get back in on the act, but no, it doesn't look like it. JP Greenwood down to 14th, so Ugyazine moving up, so could see some contact later on perhaps. But Jody on in the news now, joined the back of the AMS train here.
Yeah, definitely. Certainly closing on me, but I think Little Box is like a bit of a cake at them, and they all want to bite. Fraggle Paul wants a bite, Tom wants a bite, Dano wants a bite. They all want to bite of Little Blocks currently in P7 somehow in that Williams, which is just a shocking car.
Yeah, we'll go on board with it. You know, I have a feeling Fraggle will get a run here, Big C. You know Little very well. You know, a man who's fought through, you know, some demons to get back into the F1 league. Can he defend off Fraggle Paul here? Little with clear intent. Thou shall not pass, and he goes down to the inside to defend, but Fraggle should have the grip around the outside. No, Little defends superbly. Will Fraggle get a switchback? No, he won't. Impressive stuff here, Big C.
Yeah, textbook defender, and if anyone can defend and knows how to, it's you. And I think Nichols just making his car as wide as possible, and that's all he can do round here. Obviously, Hungary, one of the most trickiest circuits to
Oh, Big C, I've just been on board with Ashbest, and he's just slid. He's just slid into the first corner. This is an absolutely embarrassing race. A man starting on our mediums tyres. It's going from bad to worse, but I'm sure he's just using it as a bit of practice for the F1 league. No desire, no ambition. You know, no technique. You know, I'm starting to sound like Alan Shearer on Match of the Day. He's just got nothing left. Awful, awful. He's gone, Big C. He's gone.
That's fine, Aaron. Let him go. Just let him go. As AMS is closed on the right to the back of Mr. Grubby. AMS is in a Sauber. Ashbest in a Sauber by Ashbest. Has been embarrassing on F1 2018. But AMS, on the other hand, has been performing beautifully tonight. In the Sauber, he looks to make a move on Mr. Grubby. Mr. Grubby has to come to the inside line, but doesn't. He gives him the door. He opens the door for him. What a gentleman, Mr. Grubby. Just lets him through. And he leads. AMS leads again.
Yeah, no defence there. You know, you've got to defend harder for the race lead. You know, Mr. Grumpy going to go around the outside, is he? No, he can't. You know, very respectful racing. You know, something we don't usually see nowadays. But sorry, Fraggle and Little Blocks are battling, Big C. He's got Little trying to go around the outside. This can't happen, surely. He's got no grip in that car. He's trying, but you know, Fraggle makes the move stick. But Little Blocks just has to take what he can and battle the cars around him now.
I agree, and it's a beautiful move there, but I think Little Box is in a car which is over 2 seconds slower than Fraggle Paul, so it's not a surprise.
Yeah, and
AMK off the chicane!
Rubbish!
AMK just lost it.
Rubbish!
So AMK down and looks to be out of this Grand Prix, so they'll be struggling to fight and get a couple of points on the board, as AMK's going to be in the way of Tom AJ perhaps through the middle sector. Can he negotiate the McLaren with damage?
Well, they are teammates in F2, so I'd hope so, and get us out of the way swiftly. But yeah, poor AMK, not good enough. But what on Mr. Grumpy? Is he going to have a go back at AMS? This has proven to be a very exciting race indeed.
It is indeed here in JP Green, around P13. Ugyazine gaining possession, but Mr. Grumpy looks close.
Yeah, and Mr. Grumpy going for a move around the outside. AMS defends the inside, shows some passion there as he wants to hang on to his lead. But will Grumpy do what we did earlier on this race and drive clean around the outside? Surely AMS will break later and just starve him of any room, but no, he doesn't. Mr. Grumpy makes the move around the outside once again and takes the race lead. Fantastic manoeuvre from one of the most experienced drivers on the grid. I'll say that again, one of the most experienced drivers on the grid. Fantastic, Big C.
Yeah, I couldn't echo those sentiments even more. Even he's not one of, he is the experience. So yeah, great move there for Mr. Grumpy. But these three look very close and look to be the battle for the win, with CC Bastion thrown for P4. So lots of battles going on, especially in that mid-pack.
Yeah, and you just wonder, when will those tyres start to go off? When will people need to make a pit stop? Oh, Little Blocks is out! I wasn't riding on board with that. Well, where did it happen? I think it happened at the chicane. So we're just going to have a look there from Sooty. So yes, so Little Blocks. Oh dear. Oh dear, that's an awful crash. I hope he's okay, you know. Jesus.
He did look very wavy here in all races. He was struggling with oversteer, but he did great. We've had a lot of entertainment for us tonight in that Williams.
Yeah, and Ugi Azim's now joined the back of this battle here with Chicken Owens and Dano. So whether Ugi Azim's going to look to make some inroads as his car lags around the race circuit on those medium tyres. So Ugi Azim trying to probably stay out until the rain arrives. If it is scheduled for this race, I don't know, but. Yeah, no safety car still, Big C. Surely it should come out if you've had incidents and collisions like those. It's awful.
Yeah, I think we should have had one by now due to all this damaging cars. Like the Warnhead, especially Warnhead, did look very damaged and out of the Grand Prix. So a bit of a shame, but we've got a good race so far. So perhaps one might come a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll go back on board with AMS up front. This seems like the battle to stay with, and there's yellow flags, Big C. Who is it this time?
It looked like Ashbest to me.
All right, forget him. So safety car still not making an appearance. I mean, it probably just picks and chooses when it would like to come out. But
certainly is the case. But look, we've got a juicy battle for the lead. Only 2 seconds between the top two, so it's all to play for. But when will the rain come? I think we've had a bit of a weather forecast.
Joel's in. Joel's in for an undercut here. So where will he feed back at? This is risky stuff here for Giuliano Manu, because he could come out into some traffic. He will probably, I have a feeling, he will come out right behind the JP Greenwood and Sooty battle. That's where I feel like he might come out. Has he got a penalty? Oh no, it's a bit of a lag. So where will Joel come out? He needs to come out in front of Dano. Oh, that is a brilliant window to slot back into. And I know he's in a party, I believe, with Tom. He may be in a party with Tom. So will this, he may negotiate, moving in front of Tom and moving into further clean air. And Sooty, Big C and JP are battling.
They are indeed, and these guys are battling it hard in the Ferrari versus Mercedes. Sooty has got the icing. Surely he's going to make a mockery of JP down the inside. JP could get out of the way, but JP tries out on the outside. But Sooty maintains, and Aaron, I've just noticed the clouds are coming in. It is darkening, so it's rain on its way.
It could be. So is that an early pit stop from Joel there? I don't know. But JP Green was struggling a little bit, wrenching that car around, but he wants to stay out until the rain arrives, I believe. So he's doing well out there, having a good race. Hopefully we'll be in for a shot to score some points. If it does rain, then there may be further casualties in this race, but JP Greenwood's still alive and kicking out on the racetrack, and that's great to see from everyone here at PSGL. We absolutely love JP Greenwood as AMS is right onto the back of Mr. Grumpy again, so not letting go. Big C is like that Tiny Temper and Jess Glynn song. He's definitely not letting go, and Ashbest has left the session.
Yeah, another shocking race for Ashbest currently without a podium in F1. I think his FP title dream looks up in the air, but Giuliano Manu has called over a second on those medium tires. So yeah, I think Joel will inherit the lead of the Grand Prix. But what did these two know? These two guys know how to conduct strategies. These guys know how to get the most out of a result. So it's interesting to see that they're deciding to stay out a little bit longer.
Well, if it does rain, then it may be a good decision. One thing I've got to say, Big C, while we're on board here with Giuliano Manu, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree anyone. Good evening to Luis Milam. So yeah, Giuliano Manu has to get past Tom very quickly to make sure this undercut works as planned. As Ugi Azim. Just Mr. Ugi Azim.
Sorry,
Dano.
I'm still on board with Joel. I can't bother to change it at the moment.
That's fine. We're looking at Joel, and he needs to overtake Tom fast, because AMS and Mr. Grumpy will be stopping soon. But no, they start again.
Yeah, surely will Tom put up a fight here? Tom isn't a driver who likes to lie down. He will put up a fight when possible. He is a very well respected driver on the site. People love Tom, and he goes into the pits, doesn't want a piece of Joel this evening, and Joel escapes from the vulture.
I think Joel is banking on perhaps the rain coming in a little bit earlier, so they go for the intermediates, while the top two are hoping mediums to the end. So, and that's the plan between the top three for the lead of the race. But yeah, Joel will inherit the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix when they all decide to make their pit stops. But interesting, Joel is the only one to pit along on AJ. Obviously, AMK has to stop early due to his damage as well as Bugatti. So yeah, Joel and AMK are the only ones thus far.
I tell you who else is looking a little bit frustrated out there. I think probably Flying Frame. because he's still stuck behind CC Brain. So let's get a snippet of that very quickly. You know, look at that. That Force India really wants to make a move on the Toro Rosso. You know, quicker in a straight line, but just hasn't got it through the corners. So he's not really close enough to launch an assault down the straight. You know, if AMS used the overtake mode, maybe he would, but you know, he's in within 6/10. Surely now he's got to run here. If CC has to go in, and he does, and Flying Friends says I'll stay out, so he'll be relieved. So it'll be interesting to see where CC feeds back out. So we'll just ride on board with him for the time being and see where he features back out on the circuit. Yellow flags, Dixie. Anything you can see out there at the moment?
Even it's Giro Finn off in the front, in the middle sector.
That's a big shame, you know. So JP Greenwood doing very well to be up there in 11th place and just on the cusp for some points. But we'll see where CC feeds back out, and he will feed back out behind Ugi Azim. So CC doing some relatively clean there. Whether his teammate will comply and letting him go through, they've got good respect for each other, so that may be the case. JP's also in the pits. Let's have a look at this man. You know, but you know this Mercedes team. Well, can they get the pit stop done in time?
I think there's a bit of a sticky wheel not there, but I think about a 3.5 second stop there. You know, they usually get about 2.5, 2.6, but yeah, 3.5 there for JP. But interestingly, Aaron, CC's opt for the soft tyres and not the medium, so I think it is what Jolion and Manu opt for. So CC's gone soft, so an interesting choice there from the German.
Well, maybe he's looking to attack the race leader, so that could be quite interesting in the grand scheme of things. He's only about 5 seconds off the race lead, Big C, so, you know,
JP! Oh, sorry, JP's out, and he's out, he's retired on track, and you're not allowed to do that. It's against PSG rules as the leaders finally pit along with Froome.
And Big C, you know, what that means for JP, you know, he's just come out of the pits on the medium tyres, they may have been too cold for him. They may have been too cold, so maybe got a bit too throttle happy. That's a massive shame for JP.
But even here's Joel down the pit straight. Oh, Joel lead the Hungarian Grand Prix. JP's out, but there's Mr. Grumpy, and it's Jolion Manu leads the Hungarian Grand Prix. The Hungarian goes wild for the Northern Irishman. He's ahead of Mr. Grumpy and will be winning the Hungarian Grand Prix as it stands.
Some fantastic job there, but we know how easily Mr. Grumpy got past him. You know, and now Mr. Grumpy's got 4 lap younger tyres, so Jolion Manu will need to put up one of the most defensive drives of his career. Flying Frame has emerged from the pit lane and he stayed in front of Fraggle Paul, but Fraggle is saying, I do not want to lie down here. Fraggle literally reaching out of his cockpit to touch Frome, saying, get out of my way, trying to give him a move on. Can he go around the outside? And Flying Frame says, you know what, go. You know, I want to get some points. I don't want a collision. I don't want any contact. Move done and dusted. Yellow flags are out there again.
Chicken Holmes in the first sector. It was Chicken Holmes just lost it a little bit in the first sector of the lap.
That's a shame. CC Brain now on Ugi Azim. He's losing a lot of time here with CC. A lot of time. And Ugi, he will want to stay out until the rain. You know, the skies are darkening, but whether the rain arrives or not is yet to be seen. Will CC Brain launch an assault move? Ugi, I don't think he's going to fight this too hard and just leaves the inside open, running his own race. So Ugi is doing a fine job, but CC Brain takes 4th off of him with a good overtake.
Yeah, very good overtake there from the red here. Mr. Grumpy, he's got these tyres up to temperature very quickly and he's closing them up to Joel. I think Mr. Grumpy looks the man to beat this afternoon.
Yeah. And we've got 29 viewers on stream, because sorry, I didn't notice that. We had quite a lot of viewers on stream, so that's good to see. So do hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. You might as well fish one out again. Here we go, Mr. Grumpy all over the back of Jolion and the new AMS looking to join the party as well very shortly. But here we go, Mr. Grumpy. Can he make a move on Jolion and the new? Fix it, can he?
Yeah, I think Mr. Grumpy can. He just looks much faster at the moment. You know, he's ranked in that rainbow. But even there's yellow flags once again. I don't know who it is. It's Bugatti. Bugatti is out from P11. A bit of a shame there for the man who supports the Norwich City. Delia Smith disgusted, but Mr. Grumpy will be looking to make a move. Mr. Grumpy, the Man United fan, of course, in the Red Bull tag. Or Cristiano also here. I think Mr. Grumpy should get this done easily.
I don't think so. I think Joel will go late on the brakes and cut off any oxygen supply for Mr. Grumpy. Mr. Grumpy looking to go around the outside, and there you go. Joe Lianaman, he says, if you want to pass me, you're going to have to do it the hard way. Goes down the inside. You know what, Joel? Might as well bunch the queue up because you've got to defend this lead like your life depends on it. And Joe Lianaman does exactly that. So Juho Finn is now in 12th on the cusp of some points. Chicken Owens is also out of the race. So it's a race of high attrition is Hungary, and you know, points are on offer for pretty much everyone except those who are DNF. But Mr. Grumpy knows if he doesn't get past Joel, AMS will make an assault very shortly.
He really is. Weatherman Game Alamonda is in the chat. He says rain is on its way soon. So Game Alamonda obviously knows something that we don't. He's got the weather forecast back at home. So Mr. Alamonda says rain is on its way.
Yeah. But Big C.
Here Joel's going defensive into the final sector. I don't know if you're watching it, but yeah, Mr. Gummy trying to go around the outside, but no, sure not. But here Mr. Gummy's got so much experience and pace.
Yeah, I mean, Big C is like watching, you know, a lion, you know, out there in the wild trying to hunt his prey. So Joel can't do much. He's got to go to the overtake mode, and he's got to brake later. Take the inside and brake later. But Mr. Grumpy looks like he's got the overdrive. Joel has to brake later. He's got to, and he does. What will Grumpy do? Oh, sorry, I've lost the view. Grumpy trying to go around the outside, but he cannot make it stick now. Joel has to defend the inside. Surely no, he goes for the middle line. Oh, look at that. Brilliant, isn't it, Big C?
Yeah, that's just experience. I think Joel knows how to put his car, and I think Hungary, to be fair, is one of the easier tracks to defend, but, you know, credit there. You still got to place the car at the right part, and Mr. Gumby's looking so fast. He needs to get the move done quickly, but Joel's fighting hard, and, you know, the rain is on its way. You could obviously add another
spice.
Mr.
Grumpy! Oh, no. Sticky curb. Oh, that's awful. That is awful for Mr. Grumpy. He didn't need that in his race. Driving so well, and you know, succumb to an undercut from Joliani Manu and that AMS, who actually has a better power unit in the back of his car, you know, will now apply the pressure on Joel. And I know Joel and AMS have a very deep rivalry over car selections, over the FP titles. They've had so many skirmishes over the years, you know, even in the PSGL F1 League, Big C, you know, one season 19, going up Eau Rouge in wet conditions, they both collided and, you know, DNF from the race. So there's a bit of bad blood between AMS and Joel. But can Mr. Grumpy here, Big C, get back past AMS?
No, I don't think you can miss that, obviously, with the Ferrari power. I think Joel, you know, is a little bit struggling. So AMS would have DRS and Joel. So Mr. Grumpy, he's got his work cut out right now.
Big C, Fraggle Paul. Sorry.
What about him?
I just thought he was going to make a move on Ugi Aziz. They're quite close to each other. But no, it's not the case. I thought we'd keep an eye on that, but maybe we'll have to wait until next lap. But the battle is up front. Sorry, Big C, for the interruption.
No problem. But even that mistake from Mr. Gumby, is that what pressure does to people when they're fighting for race victories? It's so easy to make. Mr. Gumby, you know, he's not scared. He's just got the paddle down. So it's like Mr. Gumby down the inside into the game, but AMS covers it off. So yeah, Mr. Gumby looks like he's still going very aggressively. But yeah, look at the clouds. Just look at them.
I'm looking at the clouds. It's getting darker and darker, but look behind. CC Brain on the yellow tyres, looking to go for the aggressive strategy, which I commend. So he could put himself into the fray for a race victory. It could come down to who is the furthest down the pit lane and who is, you know, the furthest in front in the pit lane. Now, as to who wins and who loses this race, it really is up in the air here. But what's going to happen down the straight? Joel's got enough DRS here, but AMS definitely will put the pressure on, goes to the overtake mode. What can Joliana Manu do? He will go to the inside here to defend AMS around the outside. And what's going to happen here? Joel breaks later. Is it going to be the up and under? Oh, I think Joel may just have been outclassed here. And yeah, he might have to concede that position. And Joel, no, he breaks later. AMS
Mr. Grumpy, what a move! He's through here. He's through Mr. Grumpy up between a stick. AMS mugged off by the likes of Grumpy, and then Joel killed him just before that. So yeah, great there from Grumps.
Yeah, but the problem is half of these guys have got no ERS. I'm just going to look at CC Brain. He's got a lot in reserve, so you know, I have a feeling CC may turn up the wick, you know, this lap. Try and make a manoeuvre, but I think Mr. Grumpy definitely the next car in line here. make
Mr. Grumpy
that
needs to
move.
start saving some airs here, and he's using number 2 and 3 in the middle set. He's only got 30%, so yeah, he needs to be a bit more wiser. He needs to get on those fingers, but yeah, CC Brain, he's got the airs, and he's got a bit more grip on those soft tyres.
Yeah, it's just going to be interesting. You know, I'm worried for some of these drivers heading down here because, you know, it's the race win that depends on it. You know, a podium depends on it. You know, people's careers depend on it here in PSGL. 4 of the most respected drivers on the site. Joliana Manu showing how it is done. But will Mr. Grumpy retaliate down the straight? He's got a good run. What's he going to think about? Oh, is he going to go for the up and under? Opens the corner up. And I think Joel's under a little bit of threat here. He's got to go later on the brake, surely. Mr. Grumpy trying to go around the outside, using the grip of that Red Bull. It's going to be a great move. He's done it on AMS, but Joel defends that brilliantly. A little bit of contact, but no, stays in front. And AMS protects his position there from CC Brain, Big C. Anything else you can see?
No, I'm enjoying the defending. It's been spot on driving from the top 4 first for AMS, and CC Brain look a little bit closer as well, but no, it's all going on. And I think Mr. Oogie Azim has got Fraggleport and Throne for close company as well.
Yeah, it's just fascinating, isn't it? I'm going to take a little bit of a breather for a second because I don't think I can keep up with this for another 13, 14 laps.
That's fine, but I want to talk the airs a bit more. Mr. Grumpy's just not saving enough airs. I know he's in the Renault car, so I think the Renault cars don't save the airs as well as the Ferrari and the Toro Rosso Honda. But here in the rain is here. So the rain is here. So it's all kicking off. The top 4 separated by just a second and a bit. And there's rain as well, so Mr. Grumpy will be looking to make the move for the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix as Aaron takes a breath, a swig of water. He needs it as Mr. Grumpy uses the airs. He uses DRS, but he's only got 6% Aaron as he tries to go around the outside.
Well, I think it's very close, but not yet. Not yet. Further behind, AMS protecting from CC Brain. You know, these drivers, they're struggling for grip. They're searching for grip. But Mr. Grumpy will have that vehicle. Oh, he's just tapped into the back of Joel. Oh, not quite there. But, you know, it's in these conditions, Big C, it's not equal cars. Different cars behave differently in the wet. So drivers like AMS may struggle slightly. Who knows?
Yeah, that is true, Aaron. That is true. But as I said, the Renault-powered cars just don't save the airs. They don't harvest the airs as well as the Ferrari or the Honda. So that's why I think CC and AMS are not struggling with that airs management. But it's fair to Mr. Grumpy, he's not changing it. He's using too much airs in the middle sector of the lap. I'm not sure what he's playing at.
Neither do I, Big C. But, you know, does he have a cool-down lap and tries again? The problem is, you need to make that move before the track gets wet and you make the switch onto inters, because it's going to be hard to overtake in those conditions. This is Mr. Grumpy's best opportunity to win a race in FP this season. He needs to make that move on track. He can't wait to save his airs or harvest the airs. But Big C, he will need to make this move. Joliana Manu has got it spot on so far. This is absolutely phenomenal defending. He's got to go down to the inside again, using his experience as Mr. Grumpy launches an assault. He's pretty much out of airs, and Joel, you know, defending very well, but he is on the wetter line down the inside, and the track is getting more slippery here, Big C. What's going to happen?
Mr. Grumpy loves this outside line. He can find it. It's the karting line. Mr. Grumpy just can't make it because Joel's defending beautifully. It's AMS also defends from the brain. That's Ugi Azim. Loses another position. It's down to P7. CC Brain here right at the back of AMS. AMS surely has to cover the inside line down into the corner where Felipe went off. But yeah, AMS has the high ground and maintains the position. So yeah, it's all kicked off. And the Inters surely will be out very shortly. Yeah,
Joel, I'm sorry, he's gone defensive into the chicane slightly. Oh dear, surely. You know, these drivers don't want to make a bad call in these conditions. They're struggling as it is. Joel struggling for grip. You know, who's going to blink first, as they say, Big C? Who is it going to be?
I'm not sure what Mr. Grumpy certainly has got the chassis, he's got the downforce in these conditions, so I think Mr. Grumpy is enjoying them. But obviously when DRS gets to say, well, that is usually the light to pit and box for tyres of CC Bennett's have lost a bit of ground. Mr. Grumpy needs to be brave if he wants to take lead, because I think he has got the pace.
Yeah, I think it's now or never, you know. In this lap or you know, never. If he doesn't make the move this lap, he never will. Joel trying to take a wide line there as he tries to get the best exit out of the corner. He's got a good traction out of there. But here we go, Mr. Grumpy going down around the outside again. Joel takes the middle line and, you know, protects himself. Will Mr. Grumpy do a switch back here, Big C?
He tried to, and firstly he didn't use as much assist this time, so perhaps he's saving it for another attack. But he's going to try and go around the outside again. He loves this like a Mr. Grumpy. Do it around the outside of Giuliano Manu, but Giuliano Manu maintains the line once again as Tom picks. No, sorry, Frome picks for intermediate. So it's the time. Perhaps it's time for a set of intermediates, but Giuliano Manu maintains the lead once again. But look at that, Aaron. 1.5 seconds between the top 4 after 25 laps. It's just amazing stuff.
Yeah, it's great, Big. So we just need to keep an eye on Flying Frame's lap times in these conditions. That will be the benchmark as to when to pit, and AMS does listen in on the streams, I believe, so he will be keeping a close eye on the affairs. But these drivers, you know, they're more than experienced to know when it's time and when it's not. If you can drive in these conditions and you're not sliding out or, you know, on the verge of crashing out, you know, stay out there. And I think Flying Frame's probably gone in a bit too early.
Yeah, it does look too early at the minute. It is not ready just yet. Yeah, as I want to say, I think it has been the best fight for the lead we've had so far this season. Just 1.3 seconds separates the top 4, with Giuliano Manu leading the way ahead of Mr. Grumpy and AMS. It's F2 versus F4 versus F1 and F1. So in all sorts going on, but Mr. Grumpy's going to have a try and have another attack into turn 1 here.
Yeah, it's just brilliant here from Joel defending all his worth. You know, as the track gets wetter, he's going to be on the worst line as he defends. Mr. Grumpy, he can make a move around the outside, I believe. Joel has got to brake later here. He's got to do it very carefully. Mr. Grumpy around the outside, Big C. He's going to do it. He's going to do it, Big C. Joel can't defend this much longer. He cannot defend it, but he is going to go. He's going to fight back all he's worth. Oh, he can't. He can't. Mr. Grumpy's made the move stick. Absolutely fantastic. It will come down to who pits when now. Fantastic stuff there from Mr. Grumpy.
Mr. Grumpy's got one. Mr. Grumpy's got one.
Joel will go for it down the chicane. Oh, fantastic.
Grumpy cuts the corner there to maintain the position. He cuts the corner here and he lifts off. He does lift. Oh, look at that! Mr. Grumpy nearly round here, and it's all sorts of looking at them. They're all a second.
Behind Big C, CC and AMS. Oh, unbelievable. Sorry, I'm not getting the best camera angles, guys. But it's all kicking off. Yellow flags. Who's spun out there?
Sutty. It's Sutty here on the mediums. Sutty has got issues, but it's the top 4 we need to focus on. Will they blink? Will they pick for a set of intermediates?
Oh, this is absolutely entertaining. This is what FP brings to the table. Excitement all around. Mr. Grumpy, you know, I think he's going to go for it this lap. You know, he is frustrated. He's got some ERS back. He can put an assault together. Joel, what's he going to decide to do? Defend the inside? Surely he has to. Yes, he does. Mr. Grumpy going to line one up. He loves to make a move around the outside. But Joel, very clever. Oh, bit of contact. Big C, a bit of contact. Oh, but Mr. Grumpy gives the position back. Fair racing.
AMS doing. AMS on Mr. Grumpy. He's going to barge you. Surely AMS has the inside line, but Grumpy will have the line for the corner. A little bit of contact as well. So Mr. Grumpy using his experience as CC brain. Just what he's on. He's enjoying it. CC must have the popcorn out. Nothing to lose in P4, waiting for a crucial error.
Yeah, and DRS crucially is still enabled, but I have a feeling, Big C, it looks like the tide may swing this lap. I don't know about Flying Frame's lap times. As he closing in on Dano, it's looking a little bit level to me. It's looking like it is reaching that crossover point. You know, it is right on the edge, Big C. I have a feeling. You know, if I was out there on track, I'd be thinking, have I got enough tyre temperature? Can I stay out there much longer? If I was CC, maybe. But if I was on the medium tyres, I'd be saying, you know what, I think maybe my time's up here. You know, I don't know, Big C. It's just...
Yeah, I think we need to watch Fraggle Paul still. He did lose a couple of tenths. So I don't think it's right. I think it's one more lap here, and he's just lost a couple more tenths as Fraggle Paul.
But Big C, if the DRS disables midway during the lap, then, you know, something could happen. Mr. Grumpy's taking the gamble. Joel's taking the gamble. So those drivers feeling as if, you know, it's getting too wet out there. And I think Flying Frame's been catching Dano. So I think they have made the right call. But it's going to be a battle of the pit stops here. Mr. Grumpy versus Giuliano Manu. Red Bull versus McLaren. And Toro Rosso is into the mix here, so could Joel be impaired by Toro Rosso mechanics? Who's going to come out where? We'll wait and see. Joel seems like he's come out in front of Grumpy, so that's good for him.
Yeah, so good stop there for Joel. Joel will inherit the lead, surely, because it does look very... We need to keep look at the gap to AMS. It's currently at 18.2 seconds between the top 2, so let's see if it starts to come down. AMS, obviously... DRS hasn't been disabled just yet, I don't think, but we need to keep on the gap, keep a look at the gap.
Yeah, we will do. I'm just going to have a look at AMS.
Their DRS has just been disabled. It's been coming down a couple more tenths. So I think AMS has got it wrong. Joel is now catching very fast.
I did say, Big C, if it goes midway during a lap, you're fucked. You are fucked. And AMS is fucked this race up completely. No win for him, maybe not even a podium. Nonetheless, he's got to get back to the garage, you know. He's got to keep it on the rails. He is struggling out there.
He is in. I've just got a message from the legendary, the former director, Tom Wright, Tej, saying experience will win. And I'm afraid Joel, and he's right, Joel Yanomanu and Mr. Grumpy, you don't get any more experience than those two. And I think it's come to the fore this afternoon.
It has, Big C. I'm just on board here with Tom behind Ugi Azim. You know, it's a nice little battle here from 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. You know, and while we watch AMS now in the pits, he's surely going to come out in 4th. You know, I've got to watch. Now I've got to say, you know, some nice words about Tejo. You know, a very friendly man. You know, a legend of the PSGL site. You know, put the brickwork down, didn't he? He used the brickwork and mortar. You know, of why PSGL goes racing here today. You know, such an ambassador for the site. So huge respect to Tejo, Big C.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think the reason why the leagues are so successful, that's why 30, 40, 50 goes for F1 and all the other leagues is down to his hard work and direction, so we have to thank him. And as we come down to the final 7 laps of this Hungarian Grand Prix here, and 4/10 of a second separates the top two, Joel Yanomanu and Mr. Grumpy, both very strong in these weather conditions.
Yeah, and I think Mr. Grumpy's just got to, you know, rely on whether anybody gets a penalty. From your knowledge, have any of the top two got a penalty yet at this moment in time?
I can just have a quick look. Joel has got 2 penalties. Mr. Grumpy, on the other hand, has no penalties.
And what about CC Brain?
The CC Brain here, and I wonder if there's any more action as I have a little look. CC Brain has no penalties as well. I think AMS never gets penalties. So at the moment, it's Joel with 2, and the 2nd, 3rd and 4th with 0. So at the moment, it'll be Grumpy, Brain, then Joel. But AMS is catching, so AMS will be on the podium if he continues to catch for this rate.
Yeah, and Big C, it's a disappointment, isn't it, for Joel, you know? Driven so well, defended so beautifully, but those penalties always lets him down, you know. 7 years, never changes.
Yeah, I think Joel just sells as pipe dreams, so it is Grumpy's race to lose, but I think Grumpy will want to win it on the track, and I wonder if Joel has kept quiet in the party, as Mr. Grumpy's now using the overtake as he looks to make a move down the turn 1 here.
Yeah, I think Joel's got to look at the bigger picture. Does he fight here and, you know, potentially lose the podium, or what does he do? You know, he's got to think about the bigger picture here.
Yeah, point to one thing here, but pride is another. Will Joel try and go down the inside again? He does indeed. Mr. Grumpy has the high line, has the high ground, and he takes the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. I think that is see you later, mate. I think that should be done and dusted if Grumpy can keep it on the track.
Fantastic move there from Grumpy. You know, he needs that. He needs a win in FP. He's had 5 DNFs, I believe, in 6 races. It's gone pear-shaped for a man of such experience, but Hungary is his race. And he managed to manipulate the admins to get into that Red Bull. A fine drive there from Mr. Grumpy, but credit to Joel in a McLaren, you know, fighting for all he's worth. You know, he can leave with his head held up high at the end of this one. But I don't think positions are going to change. We'll have a look at AMK very shortly and see, because he's right on the back of Tom here, so this could be a battle for the ages.
It could indeed in the battle of the ages. Also, AMS and CC Brain are also coming together a little bit.
No, I don't want to see that. You know, I want to see something a bit different. You know, sometimes you need a bit of a change of scenery. You know, I'm pretty sure sooner or later you'll be in F2. You know, after finishing 12th at Hockenheim, but you know, we'll leave that for another day.
That's fine. Yeah. All right. Indeed, Aaron, I think we need to focus on the track action today. It's AMS only half a second behind as well, and also Ugi Azim. Let's look at Ugi Azim a little bit more. 2 cars behind Tom and AMK right behind Ugi Azim.
Yeah, I think Ugi Azim, you know, has done really well. Just look at him. Just look at him. You know, doing really well out there. You know, he's had some criticism on the FP screens, but today, in the back of the grid after an issue in the qualifying, he's executed a very good strategic race starting on the mediums. And you know, I think if some other drivers, especially leaders, followed down the same route, you know, you could have won the race. Any of the top 5, stick on set of the mediums on, stay out there until the rain, and you know, Bob's your uncle.
It is here, and there's the yellow flags out there again. I'm not sure it is this time. I think it's Frome who's going slowly here, and Frome's going very slowly out there in the first sector. You know Frome very well, a colleague, and he's out. He's rage quit, I believe. I think he's rage quit the race.
Big C, I don't know. I think, you know, something must have gone in the eye. You know, this man's just recently recovered from an eye injury as flying Frome. So, you know, whether he's decided to, you know, give his eye a bit of a break during this race, who knows. But it's over, and AMK still on the back of Tom here. So I feel like AMK isn't going to hold back. He's got one of the best cars in these weather conditions out here today. Surely he's not going to settle here for 8. He's got to go for it. He's got to go for it, Big C. You know, there's 4 laps to go. You know, you want to get your name up in lights. You want to, you know, make an impression on the PSGL site. Surely AMA, who is listening today, will maybe make a manoeuvre here on Tom AJ down the straight. He's got the grip, he's got the traction. Can he get himself out of that final corner? Yes, he can. He's in hot lap. He should go to overtake. Yes, he does. This turn 1 could get very feisty, Big C.
Yeah, it could indeed here, and I don't think MK is quite close enough to make a move. He can dive from it, but he does. See you later.
Yeah, I don't know if that was some encouragement on the stream, you know, commentators interfering with the state of play, but fantastic move, and that has produced some brilliant action on the stream there. I wonder if Tom's going to have a go back at him, but no, I think next up is AMK versus Oogie Azim, Big C.
Yeah, I got a message from our pit lane reporter, Joshua Roberts. He says Frome I just had a disconnection, his PlayStation just turned off. Says our pit lane reporter, Josh Roberts.
Yeah, and we'll just have a... I'm going to have a little look at AMS very quickly. I don't think he's close enough to make a move on CC. You know, AMS is quite a conservative driver, isn't he? He'll pick up the results and take it at a slow pace, you know. I can imagine him, you know, being in a restaurant and taking his time for every bite, you know. Is that kind of the way he portrays himself on the PSGL side?
Yeah, I have to agree that we don't know much about AMS. He just gets the job done, he gets the point, he knows how to get a result. Maybe he's not a flair sort of driver, maybe a Valtteri Bottas, that type.
Yeah. You know, it is what it is. AMK here, I don't think he's close enough to make the move on Oogie. Oogie doing a fine job in 6th, but wouldn't surprise me if there's a bit of contact later down the road here. You know, in the closing match, but not yet. AMS still behind CC Brain. CC not really under much threat, you know. AMS might need to, you know, take the shackles off here, Big C. He's probably listening to us on the stream. Look at him, he's real closing right up to the back of CC. He's struggling out there. AMS down the inside, Big C nearly. Oh, having a look. He's getting absolutely frustrated. He wants a podium. Will he go for it on CC? I think your words have ramped him up, Big C.
Definitely, I compared him to Valtteri Bottas, but he's going to make the move down the inside. What an exit from the chicane, but CC Brain will hold it and have the inside for the next corner. MS, we've not seen him like this in months. Very aggressive driving there.
Yeah, one more from AMS. Surely the FP League admin looking to, you know, spray himself out on this circuit, but maybe he'll have to wait for the straight here, Big C, you know, because that's where the move's going to be done, if anywhere.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more here in Toro. So I've got the Honda power unit, but I've got the Ferrari power unit, one of the best power units around nowadays, as Oogie Azim only 5 tenths of a second ahead of AMK.
Yeah, Big C, I think AMS has got a good opportunity here. He's moved it into overtake. CC has got to go defensive. I have a feeling AMS, if he has a sniff down the inside, he will go for it. Oh no, he's too far back. CC's got just enough power. But what about AMK and Oogie Azim? AMK's getting some good traction out of there. Oh, this could be quite exciting down to turn 1. Oogie taking the inside. He's too far back, Big C. AMK cannot go for it. You know, he's got to be sensible.
No, not on a man like Oogie Azim, who knows how to get the car stops when there's no cars ahead of him. Oogie Azim maintains their position, and I think the gap between those two, you know, will be one to watch as we're on the penultimate lap. Look at Aaron. We need to talk about Mr. Grumpy a little bit more, I think. 7.5 seconds already over the rest of the field. This man just knows how to work these conditions. He knows how to work a car in the rain. He knows how to work it when it's a bit moist.
No, definitely Big C. And look at that CC Brain all out of sorts. AMS could be going to go down the inside. No, he's not. So CC Brain struggling in the middle sector. So AMS has surely got to line up a move this lap. If it doesn't happen now, it never will. This is his last opportunity. This is arguably for what will be second place. AMS has got to do something. You know, you need points in FP. They don't come easily, and they do definitely come cheaply. But AMS here, you know, right on the back of CC's got to get everything spot on, the traction, the grit, the run, all of it, Big C.
Yeah, I agree with him, but AMK's looking at Ugi Azim as the final sector. I think Ugi Azim will defend it, but I think we'll have people are on board with the third and fourth just for now.
No, Big C, I've gone to AMK at the moment. He's gone round the outside of Ugi Azim. Oh, this is absolutely fantastic racing. And Ugi Azim surely has to succumb. AMS
yeah, and CC's gone defensive into turn one. Sorry, but CC's gone defensive into turn one, and AMS probably will look to make the move. No,
crazy
but what a move from AMK. You know, it was just fantastic.
Yeah, it's like monsoon conditions. I think AMS has just got to tuck in now and just accept his fate and just come in with that podium finisher. CC doing a fine job, but Big C, what about Mr. Grumpy? I'm going to let you take this man to the line. I'm going to let you take the FP coverage to an end here. You know, we will get some interviews, you know, after the race, but look at this, Big C. Mr. Grumpy, take us through this.
Yeah, Mr. Grumpy, you know, he struggled to get past the stern defence of Giuliano Manu, the man mountain, the 6'5" Northern Irishman. Giuliano Manu defended beautifully, but it is Mr. Grumpy. He's not had a great season, but he's worked these conditions. Mr. Grumpy, a man who has to work it. When there's a bit of moisture, Mr. Grumpy can just work the car better than most. Mr. Grumpy in the Red Bull, the Tag Heuer car, as he rounds the final corner for the final time at the Hungarian. It's Mr. Grumpy who wins in the wet at the Hungarian. What a drive!
Unbelievable! Mr. Grumpy, fantastic. Who will take the podium positions here? Giuliano Manu, currently second, but will drop down to fourth, I believe. And he doesn't, Big C. AMS had a penalty.
Unbelievable, Aaron. Unbelievable. And I believe AMS picked up that penalty on lap 32. So, yeah. Interesting. I think that's thoroughly deserved for Johnny. He deserved the podium. He earned it out there today.
I agree. Ugi Azim will pick up fifth. A fantastic effort from Ugi. But here we go. What about Dano here? Dano in ninth. You know, good drive. You know, beating his good friend Sooty. You know, both of them doing a great job, but Dano in the Haas, you know, a driver who we usually see in some of the top three teams, you know, struggled out here, but, you know, some welcome points in tough conditions. And look at that, he's happy with that effort. Well done to him. What about Sooty, Big C? Sooty, will he pick up a point?
Yeah, it does look like, I think Eurofin is closing. In fact, Eurofin's been closing the last couple of laps, but I think Sooty just had enough of a gap, enough of an advance. I think Eurofin had a few issues in the dry conditions. Stayed out on 20 lap old soft tyres at one point. So yeah, Sooty will take the final point in front of Maurizio Oliva Bennett and Luca Di Montezemolo.
That's great, as Mercedes is special guest here this evening. Harry Redknapp gives a shake of the head, you know, wheeler dealer as Duofin comes home in 11th, you know, close but not close enough. No points here this evening for the Flying Fin, PSGL's Flying Fin, but it is your race winner. Forgot.
Mr. Grumpy, the most experienced driver on the grid here.
Yeah, Mr. Grumpy wins ahead of CC Brain and Giuliano Manu. A fantastic job. And look at that, Big C. What do you call this?
The champagne! So I'll get Grumpy, CC and Giuliano Manu. Is there anyone else who would want to be in the podium interviews?
Oh, I'd love a bit of Ugi Azim. If possible. If Tom's on, toss him one, but... Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is Mr. Grumpy who wins ahead of CC Brain, Giuliano Manu in third, AMS fourth, Ugi Azim fifth, no penalties for him, which is a good sign. Fragglepool sixth, AMK seventh, Tom AJ in eighth, so some good points for him in the Force India, Dano ninth, Sooty 10th, and Juho Finn in 11th, so Flying Frame I believe disconnected and, you know, comes home with nothing. And then we've got a huge list of people who DNF, so we won't go through it. You can read it on the screen for yourselves. But yeah, Big C Ashbest doing a horrendous job this evening.
Yeah, another shock up from my F1 team, but you know, there's a lot of talent in, you know, in himself. So I think we'll wait for the guys to join the podium. It will be Mr. Grumpy taking the win and joining us with CC Brain and Giuliano Manu.
Yeah. So we'll just wait for them to tune in. But Big C, if bar my corrections, I believe that was the second most popular FP stream that we've done this season behind Silverstone.
I think that's what we needed, and hopefully there's no echo as the interviews do continue on in the next couple of minutes.
No, I do.
Yeah, it was a great race. So 4 cars fighting it out for the win. So magnificent defending, some great tyre strategies from the likes of Ugi Azim, but the man of the moment, the man, the myth, the legend. It's Mr. Grumpy back on top at the Hungary here, and he's your good friend, so I'll let you kick things off.
Yeah, I will kick things off. Grumpy, you started on pole. A very weak start to the race. You dropped down to 4th, and then you merged back in 3rd. But did you make that harder for yourself than it could have been?
Yeah, I did. At the start, my lights went off after everyone else's, so that's why I had a sort of getaway.
Do you think that was down to reaction time? Because you are one of the more older drivers on the grid. As you get older, I know very well. Reaction times aren't quite there. So do you think that had a bearing when the lights went off? A bit like Mark Webber.
No, I know I'm getting old, but no, my reactions are still.
No, it was a very, very good drive. Just describe emotionally how it feels to, win a race in FP after 5 DNFs this season. You must be truly ecstatic. A man of your experience, may I add.
Yeah, extremely happy. There's just something about Hungary and me being in the Red Bull where I always seem to win or get on the podium. It's just I can't explain it.
No, Big C, any words for?
Yeah, Mr. Grumpy, you had a great battle there with Joel, Jan, and obviously, you're friends with Joel. Was there much discussion in the chat, or was it like, heads down and no talking? How was that with Joel, and how was it in the party?
Yeah, it was pretty much heads down, like hardly any talking. But yeah, very enjoyable. But I know I could trust him wheel to wheel.
Yeah.
Also with AMS earlier on as well. Good battle.
And just to add, Mr. Grumpy, as you've been on the PSGL site for a very long time, does that set the standard for how wheel-to-wheel racing should be? We see in other leagues where people send it down the inside every corner, don't show enough respect wheel-to-wheel, but did the battles between you, AMS, Joel and CC Brain show, what league racing is all about and how it should be done?
Yeah, it definitely did. People need to learn how to be patient when battling.
So,
thank you, Mr. Grumpy. I think Joel is not joining, so we're going to have to move on to CC Brain coming home second.
You're going to ask him a question.
Yeah, CC, it was a great strategy call to go on those soft tyres, but it just looked like you didn't really have the confidence to make overtakes, but you had no penalties and ultimately benefited from no penalties. So how was the race for you?
Yeah, it was good. I wasn't even planning to do the soft strategy, but then someone out of the party said if you should go on the softs, and then I thought it would be a good strategy goal, which paid out in the end. And yeah, it was hard to overtake cars with the Toro Rosso engine, but yeah.
And CC, just while we're interviewing you, just a reminder, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. CC, you're a man who knows how to set the car up well. When going out to race, you've been a setup provider for some teams in various leagues. Rumored to be the Sauber team in F2 specifically. But how much impact did the setup have this evening on your result?
I think the setup always has a huge part on your result. But if everyone used the same setup, it won't have that huge effect. I think I found the right setup where the tires don't overheat that much.
Okay.
Lovely stuff. Moving on to Aaron Ugi Azim in 5th position. From 18th on the grid.
Yeah, Ugi, you've had some, criticisms from us on this stream. You do know we do respect you as a driver. We're good friends. But every now and then you do get roasted, and rightfully so. Why has it taken you so long to get it right? It was a great drive today, but you started in 18th. If you'd started higher up the grid, maybe you would have been on the podium here tonight.
Just to make it more fun, I guess.
Oogie, mate, just to add, how's it feel to finally finish in fifth? Get some good points on the board in FP because things haven't gone right.
I have a huge smile on my face. I think that says a lot. It was a tough race. It was a fun race, and enjoyed every second of it.
Big C, any questions for Oogie?
I think we've heard enough from Oogie Azim. I think we've had a few people join the party since, and yeah, Tom has now joined.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't see it.
Yeah, no worries. P8 for Tom Aaron.
Yeah, Big C, do you want to ask the question? I know there's one specific question that you're
I think, yeah, Tom. Basically, sort your race. How was it out there for you, Joe?
It was okay. It was alright. It wasn't too bad.
Interesting. And obviously, the lead up to the race, there was some arguments in the FP league. Also, you're very unsatisfied.
Yeah.
In F2 as well. So but let's talk about Abiodun. We commented on it during the stream. Is Abiodun in your head at the moment? Is it affecting your performances, or is it is it at the back of your mind? Like don't you care what these children have got to say?
I found it hilarious that he got banned for a race.
Do you think it was the correct decision?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, some of the messages that he deleted afterwards, obviously, he must have thought it was the correct decision as well. So obviously, he must have thought that he was a bit of an idiot saying the things that he said, and probably feeling a bit of regret and remorse over everything he said as well. So yeah, I'm sure he'd be okay. You learn things at that age. So
yeah, I agree. And if you've got anything else to say to Abdon, you're going to hold a grudge against him, or you're just looking to the future, trying to get some good results on the board.
I'm not going to hold a grudge against a kid. Like I said,
No. Well, you can always leave a mark, Tom, at the next race. Should there.
The only thing that made me laugh was a few of his comments. I can't remember what it said. I may be a kid, but I'll smack you up was the one that I think made me laugh the most. I didn't even reply to it because I couldn't even think of anything. I couldn't even think of anything to say.
No, well, at your age, Tom, stay silent. No, I'm kidding.
The only thing I want to say is obviously I know Mr. Hake's gone a bit crazy at me, but I'm uploading the video now, so apologies for anything went wrong there between me and him. And then there was a period, and I don't know whether it was done on purpose or not, where Lickle decided to go in AI mode. So as soon as it came off the straight, put it in AI mode, and then as soon as it came back onto the straight, obviously a full lap, and took it off AI mode. So obviously in AI mode on the corners, the engine braking from the car is quite heavy. So I don't know whether that was a bit of a trying to help out his friend Abiodun or not. I'm not sure, but I don't know.
Well, who knows? Good points anyway. Big C. I don't think we've got any more questions, have we, for anyone else?
No, I think it's good to wrap up.
Can you do it?
Yeah, so there we have it, Aaron. Mr. Grumpy back on top of the podium. An exciting Hungarian Grand Prix, a four-way battle for the lead. But there we have it. We'll be back in 7 days' time for the legendary Spa-Francorchamps circuit located in the Ardennes Forest. So yeah, can't wait for that, and we'll be back in 7 days.